In the world of strength training, the term posterior chain refers to the set of muscle groups between your hips and your ankles and the back side of your body, which is responsible for explosive movement, athletic performance, as well as postural integrity, core stability, and hip mobility. Today I want to go through a set of 7 exercises and how I progress from the most basic movement a little bit up to advanced movement without using any equipment. Number 1, the glute bridge. So the glute bridge is primarily going to target your sides of your hips, which is the glute medius. And what you want to do is you want to lie flat on your back, and all you do is lift your hips up as high as you can, and you're going to feel your trunk region, the center of your stomach, your lower back, your hips, and you should feel it a little bit in your hamstring. If you had equipment, you could advance this move and put a band around your knees or your thighs and do abduction and abduction, but today, for the sake of this video, I didn't want to use equipment. Now I can also feel some pressure on the backs of my shoulders, and you can either hold the movement up for a set of time like I did, or you can go up and down, and you'll feel a little bit more of that truck engagement if you go up and down, as well as the hamstrings and the glutes. After you get comfortable with doing the glute bridge, then I would advance to a hip press. Now, in the beginning of this video, I said no equipment, but I'm going to do a couple exercises using the assistance of a bench, like the hip press, but I really didn't consider that a piece of equipment. When I meant no equipment, I meant machines, cables, bands, dumbbells, barbells, stuff like that. So the second exercise I'm going to show you is the hip press. So I'm going to lie on my back again, and I'm going to put my ankles on this bench. You can use a chair, you can use anything of varying height, and I'm just going to move my hips up and down, and I'm going to feel more resistance and tension in the glutes and hamstrings more than I feel in the glute bridge. So I'm going to keep my knees at a 90-degree angle, and again, you can go hold it, or you can do repetitions, a set of 10, 15, 20 repetitions, whatever you're comfortable doing with this hip press. Primarily, you don't want to feel it in your calves, you want to feel it in your hamstrings primarily, and then you're also going to feel a little bit tension in your shoulders, because the backs of your shoulders is what's kind of keeping you stable from going up and down, and it's keeping that upper back on the ground. Movement number 3 is the basic hip hinge, or you may have heard of it called the deadlift, where you're going to keep your core tight to support that lower back, and you're just going to hinge yourself forward. You're going to feel it as you get to about a 90-degree angle. You're going to feel it in your hamstrings and your glutes, as well as your lower back. Make sure you keep that trunk really tight so you don't put any strain in your lower back, and then you're going to stand up nice and slow, keeping that trunk region really tight, keeping those knees slightly bent, and then you hinge forward. Again, a way to advance in this move is if you did have equipment, you could be holding onto a barbell or some dumbbells or any type of weighted piece of equipment and do your hinges with a variance of weight. You can also kind of move your arms in different positions. That's going to add a little bit more stability. You can also do these single legs, which is a little bit more advanced movement. So this is number 3, the hip hinge. One thing I wanted to mention about this hip hinge, it's not only good for athletic performance, but it's just a good movement to do to strengthen that midsection for activities of daily living. How many times do you bend over to pick something up throughout the day? So again, the benefits for activities of living are so important. So moving on to the 4th posterior chain lower body exercise is just the reverse lunge, where you're going to step backwards, and I like to alternate. A way to advance the movement is to hold onto a weight, a dumbbell, a barbell, a band. I like to use bands and do a lat pull down with my reverse lunge. And the reason I really like the reverse lunge is because it primarily targets the all areas of the glutes and the hamstrings, and it's less of a quad dominant lunge. You could do reverse lunges as you're walking forward and backward. Just make sure as you do it, you keep your shoulders over your hips, over your knees, over your ankles, and make sure this knee is over your toe and you're not extending your knee beyond your toe. You can do reverse standing in place, or like I already said, you can do reverse lunges, walking backwards, turn around, walk backwards again. When I'm doing a full body workout, I like to do these in the gym, where I'll do forward lunges, get to my point, and then I'll do backwards lunges. So after I get really comfortable and I feel a little bit more stable in my hips with the lunge, I like to move on to a step up. When you start doing step ups, it's nice to take advantage of using the bench for a little bit more stability, keeping that upper body straight, keeping that chest not leaned forward, but keeping those shoulder blades back and down your spine as you're stepping up and down on a bench. Again, when I'm in a weight room, or I have different access to different benches, I like to do regular step-ups where I'm facing forward and I'm stepping up on the bench. I like to do lateral left, lateral right step-ups, but the reverse are primarily the ones I do because my weakness is the glutes, and that's what I'm trying to make stronger. And the final exercise for the posterior chain is making sure I target my calves with eccentrics. So I'm going to do an eccentric on my right calf. So my left leg assisting my right side of my body on my right toe, and then I'm slowly lowering my heel to about the height of the bench, and then I'm going to use my left leg to push back up and slowly lower that heel. And then I do my repetitions, my sets, and then I switch legs. Now I'm going to use my right leg to lower my heel to about the level of the bench, and then I'm going to go up again. I usually actually do these at my home on my stairs. So the idea of the eccentrics is to make sure you target and strengthen the calves. I started doing these years ago when I had a lot of Achilles tendonitis, posterior tibialis tendonitis, and these were recommended by my physical therapist, and I used to do them multiple times a day because I would do them anywhere I saw some stairs. I'd start to doing some eccentrics, and for me it was really the quickest way for me to strengthen those calves and overcome the issues I had in my lower legs. I'd love to hear what your favorite lower body posterior chain exercise is. Either comment below, join the Chatter in our T2 Endurance Facebook group, and make it a great day.